Welcome back to the Planet Paintball Podcast, brought to you by 1023 Sportswear and Southwest Paintball in Bayfield, Colorado. Got a heater for you guys tonight, or this morning. It's going to be a morning release. Travis from the Scrappy Dogs. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Doing real well. Thanks for having me out. It's been a pleasure. So this is the first podcast event for me. So pretty excited for that, number one. And number two, just super stoked for what you're doing for the game and, getting a lot of local dudes, a lot of the big dudes and pros get a lot of the spotlight, but a lot of the guys that, week in and week out put their grind in at their home fields and, are trying to elevate this sport, this game, this hobby, whatever it is that you want to call it, to the next level. So, it's cool to be on board. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole mission, is like shine a little light on the divisional guys. And then,
Absolutely.
Obviously some of the pros from the Carolinas have been on, but, a lot of those guys, they aren't the poster boys, right? So I want to tell their stories too, especially like recent years. And I know you come from a pretty storied camp, if you will, in Carolina paintball.
We tried.
It's been hard to climb that ladder nationally, right? So it's important to share those stories for sure. But
cool, man.
We're gonna get into 10-man stuff, but let's start with history.
Gotta give the people what they want now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're gonna get there. You gotta listen through though.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can't just come in here, watch the first little bit, be like, I heard what you want. No, we're gonna lay it all out. So don't worry.
Yeah, we gotta lay it out. So where did you find paintball, man? When did this become a thing?
Man, there was, for my 10th birthday, my uncle and my cousins played just like anybody else. Family member took me playing. And there was a local field. I can't even remember what it was called. Took me out there, said, hey, let's go play paintball for the first time. And I remember vividly, my dad loaded us all up in the Suburban. There was like 7 or 8 of us, my friends from middle school, and not even middle school, elementary school. And went out there and played paintball. And it was like, from that day on, it was like, dude, this is sweet, and it was more kind of how we all started, right? In the woods, there was capture the flag, defend the president. You had all your old school modes going, and, just getting out there with the old school. I had this gloss camo green spider that I thought was the sweetest thing next to sliced bread. So I was out there playing with that and played with that for a while. And then 2003 happened. That was when I turned 12 in 2003, and the CFOA came to Paintball Central Greensboro, and that was back in
back in the day.
Yeah. CFOA events were like 4 or 5 fields going. It was a 2-day event. You had rows of vendors, you had food trucks, you had all kinds of stuff. And it was a big ordeal.
Yeah. And 200 plus teams at a lot of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we went out there, man. And we never didn't have one practice. Didn't know what we were doing. It was my dad, my dad's friend, and a bunch of 12-year-olds. And we went out there and played in the rookie division against, who was in that division? Old school Circus Runaways.
Yeah.
Virus was in that group. You had Ultimate was up there from, the guys that played pro back in Georgia. They were in that division. We just got absolutely thrashed. Dude, it was ugly. Maybe we shot a couple of people all day long, but still, it was out there. I was out there with my dad, and we were just getting after it. And it was from that day on, Paintball Central became home. I live here in Kernersville and grew up in Winston-Salem, and so it was like not 20 minutes down the road, and we went and played, and it was awesome. It was awesome, and just been with it ever since. After those years, I bounced around, played on different throw-together teams from all over the country, played with guys from Cali, Texas, Vegas, Arizona, up guys in the Northeast. But, I'm going to turn that off. But it was just been around, man. Just love the game. Love the game.
So what, after that first tournament, did you stay with the family squad for a while? Or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kind of skipped over that whole thing. So after that, we went and played. My dad, he had just as much fun with it. And I would not have had the opportunity to play and to come up through the ranks if it wasn't for my dad. You know, he was still fully supportive of me, and he was right beside us for the ride all through CFOA 5-man, CFOA X balls. We played we played together, and it was funny. This was back when old school Arsenal was around and shooting the Angels, right? And so when I first watched my first pro tournament, I was like, Arsenal. Oh, that's a really cool name. So started entering tournaments as Arsenal dads and Arsenal kids. And we were like, Arsenal's they're never gonna remember, they're not gonna know who we are. You know what I mean? It's no big deal. Well, people caught wind of it pretty quick. Not that we were validated or anything, but like, isn't there a pro team named Arsenal? And we were like, maybe, you know? And so anyway, playing paintball since 3-mans and stuff all through the years, and started winning a bunch of those in kind of both divisions. And then I jumped on to Vortex in CFOA 5-man. Still played with my dad and some local guys through 2006, 2007, and some of the CFOA X ball tournaments. 2000, I guess it was 2005. No, it was 2006. Yeah, 2006 was when I jumped on the Vortex out of Greensboro. And that was the same kind of thing. Got beat up a little bit, hung in there with some games, got beat up some games, but, started really kind of getting the feel for competitive ball, knowing what it took, getting out there and practicing, not just going out and having fun. I mean, it was fun playing with my dad and my friends, but everybody wants to win, right?
Yeah, there's different levels to this,
There's
right?
There's different levels.
You can go out and have a good time with your buddies, and then there's joining a team. Like, the goal is to win.
That's right.
It's a step up, right?
It's
Regardless of the division, it's a step up.
Division, man. I mean, D4X ball, in the NXL is extremely competitive, and there's a lot of kids in that division. The pro division has gotten younger and younger and younger. The semi-pro and the pro division have gotten younger and younger and younger. Well, those kids had to start somewhere, right? So, I mean, every year, D4 and D3, I mean, there's, I say kids, I'm talking, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that are just straight ballers, man. Just straight ballers that were just given the opportunity early, and the game has evolved so much from 2005 to 2025 to what it is now. And so just, I mean, with the tools that they have, things like this, all the video content, all the camps, you got the BKIT stuff that goes on in the North, and, now you've got Team USA and the U19 team and everything else. It's like, man, we didn't have
any of that.
No, we didn't have any of that.
We didn't even know to wish for it.
No, not at all. Not at all. And so it's cool to see, like I said, it puts some legitimacy behind it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely nice. After that, let me see, what year am I in? 2007. Yeah, 2005, 6, 7, CFOA local tournaments. 7 was when PSP came to MAO. And they still had the All-Star game. I mean, I think they have the All-Star game. It might have been 2006 was the first year, but 2007 was the first year that I actually went.
Down in Rock Hill,
South Carolina. Yeah, man. And that was when you had New Jersey Jesters were at their peak. LTZ, Ultimate, Denver Altitude was at their peak. The whole Palm Beach Vipers camp. Aftermath. Yeah, and that was a crazy event. I pitted for San Diego Dynasty that time, and I thought, looking around, looking at those dudes, like, wow, these dudes are my heroes, And so I got a Dynasty jersey, and they gave me a bunch of gear and stuff like that. And it was really cool to see the pro teams, even back then. I'm not gonna say paintball was small back then, but it was at its peak back then. But there were a lot of people that didn't include the younger generations. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a lot different then. Like, it was at its peak then, but now you've got pro teams that will go out and seek out kids to bring them on and stuff.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really like that then. But Dynasty, on the other hand, was kind of the exception. And they kind of really took me in. And at some of the other events throughout the years, I still pitted for them until I really started competing and started playing a lot more. But it was a blast, man. It was a blast. It was super cool. So, yeah, 2007 happened. 2008 was the Raiden camp. Pete Couture started the Raiden camp, Matt, right? Yeah, Paintball Central Greensboro. And that camp kind of that was kind of the true start of the national scene, here in Greensboro. You had Gridlock and Trauma that were out of Rock Hill. They were from North Carolina, on the national scene. But Greensboro didn't really have a national scene, a national team. And so when Pete threw together Gridlock, it was an opportunity for a lot of us to be like, hey, we can do this. We can play. And see, played in CFY X ball events, stuff like that. And we're started going to the national events. I don't think they went to all of them. They went to a few of them, but that was the year. 2008 was the year that Raiden won World Cup. And RB, Cody Green, Matt Sossman, Dimitri was on that team. Zach Geiger was on that team, and his brother Brody Geiger, their dad Troy was one of the coaches. Eric Couture, Alden Larrabee. You had some just kind of local. Kyle Bowen was on that team. You just kind of had local guys that had kind of been around, and they won Division I that year, and it was like, all right, I kick in the door, waving the 4-4. North Carolina paintball on the team, and so it's only been up from there, man. North Carolina paintball had been exploding. After 2008, I didn't really get my shot on that divisional team. So I went and played with Cross-Eyed out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is another, legacy camp, right? All through 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, even.
And you want to talk about huge camp, like just huge. Like you guys were rolling with
you're bringing
50 plus
10 teams, 6 to 10 teams to events. Crazy. And so, got with them. I went and tried out with them. I actually went down there with James Butts and Chris Shear, and tried out for those guys and started playing with them for a couple of years. Then Raiden broke up like 2010, I believe. In the late season 2010, he wanted to bring the team back. So brought the team back again, played a couple events, didn't really do much. And that was like 2011, 2012 was when I just started saying, you know what? Okay, I don't, there's not a home team for me to be on here. That was when, again, CFA X-Ball kind of was revived a little bit in the early 2010s, 2010, 2011, 2012. And started playing some of those with friends and just kind of saying, all right, well, let's get back in the national scene. I didn't really have a team then. The big teams then were, all the old NC Hammer, the Raleigh guys. And there just wasn't a good fit in Greensboro. So I decided to make the jump and play with whoever and anyone and everyone that I could get a spot with, from D3, D2, never D1 throw together, but D2, D3, D4 throw togethers and announced tournaments. And I'd go and fly across the country and meet a bunch of dudes in a hotel parking lot and be like, hey, I'm Travis. Like, yeah, we met online. All right, yeah, cool, let's play. And, never did anything, but it's good to get out there and drink some beers with the boys and have a good experience. So
it's an experience though, right? Like
it was an experience, man.
Networking.
It was an experience. That's
paintball at that time was moving away from like the tribalism, right? Like, fuck you if you're on my squad or from my area, fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's why it was a little tough to get on around. But then it was like, hey, I know a bunch of people through the game over the years, guys I played against, guys I played with, kind of rubbing shoulders with. And it was like, hey, let's just see where it takes us. I remember playing, 2011, I graduated in 2010, in high school in 2010. And it was either late 2010 or early 2011 was the Huntington Beach, kind of like the first X-Ball format that they brought together, the best of format, where it was like,
like they did a best of 3 for 7 man.
Yeah. And I'd never gotten the opportunity to play Huntington Beach before. And I was like, dude, you know what? I saw on PV Nation, it was the Factory Black guys based at, well, you know, I don't know if any of the guys watching this are going to know the Factory Black, but a bunch of the guys in the Northeast. And they were like, hey, man, like you played for Cross-Eyed. We need to fill a role. Come out and play with us. And I said, cool. And I flew to California, never met any of these guys. When I say meet in a hotel lobby, I'm so serious. Didn't like had one guy's phone number, hadn't paid any money to play the event, wasn't even sure, didn't know what these guys looked like. But out of California by myself, you know, as 18 years old, fly to California by myself. I'm sitting in the hotel lobby, take a 45-minute taxi ride from LAX to the hotel in Huntington Beach. And I'm sitting in the hotel lobby and I'm like, man, I really hope these guys show up. And I look up and there's a group of guys walking in the door and somebody goes, are you Travis? And I was like, yeah. And it was Kyle Berry. Kyle Berry was on that team. And Kyle was like, hey, yeah, you're Travis? And I was like, yeah. And so from that point on, we played. He was like, oh, yeah, you're with us. And hit it off from that go. And yeah, man, it was cool. That was a lot of fun. I got to check that box of playing NPPL 7-man on Huntington Beach. I played a couple other NPPLs. I played the Chicago event, and then I played the Tampa event in the next couple of years. And again, playing with guys from anywhere and everywhere. I played with teams out of Chicago. I played with teams out of Texas, you know, out of Louisiana. Rigel, I'm sorry, Stuart, if you're watching this. Rigel. Yeah, I'm terrible. Played on a D4 throw together X ball team with him at the Galveston event. And
shit.
yeah, you talk about a shit show, but oh my God. That was awful. Masks in the pits, no nets, mud 7 inches deep, 8 inches deep. That was a cluster. But we actually made it all the way, we're undefeated, made it all the way to the finals to play against Revo and Stephen O'Mara, Henry Saints, all those dudes. Their very first national event as a team in D3, and they beat the shit out of us. I mean, they mocked us. It was 4-0 pretty quick. And
yeah.
I remember walking back to the truck after that, and I walked right past Henry, and Henry's on the phone, by talking to his mom or something. I was like, yeah, we fucking won. And I'm walking by going, oh man, dude, first national finals and just get mopped like that. But anyway, long story short, I've been around this game a long time. It's been amazing, man. Seeing the friends, making the friends. I mean, some of these guys, lifelong friends, 20 years, 25 years of friendship, and still going strong. I mean, this game's weird, right? You know, I got people in my normal life. Most of us, we all have people in our normal life that we can say that we are not friends with, that we went to school with for 10 years, that you're not as good of friends with as you are with some of the dudes that you've known for 5 years at the paintball field. And it's, you know, I really don't think there's another sport out there like it, that being able to make those friends. And you know, Drew Wash's wedding is here in a few weeks, you know, getting to go to that and celebrate that with him, and multiple weddings over the years. And man, it's been cool. It's been cool. Been one hell of a ride. So, you know, that's kind of how I got my start. And, you know, like got the taste of national and winning a little bit. Well, I say winning, but getting the opportunity to win was like, man, I want more of this. You know, it was stick the needle in the arm, you know, ice in the veins. Let's go. And it was a lot of fun. What year are we in? 2013, 2014. You've got like the Dark Carnival and the Collision Camp, right? So a lot of those guys, Breakout, Carolina Breakout, Dark Carnival, Collision, we all kind of playing around the area. You know, those are some other teams that came out of the CFA X Ball time, and some of them started playing national events. And about the same time that they were playing national events, you know, 2013, I'm jumping around. We all
Chaos was playing.
Yep. I forgot a big part too. It's 2013. That was 2012 was Galveston. 2012 was
Okay.
Galveston. 2013 was actually the Top Gun camp. I played
Okay.
with the guys. I played a T2 out of Top Gun Paintball in New Jersey, and when Slasher, Ryan Martin, Chris Shear, Heyman Chapman were all on that team, and so that was kind of again my big taste at travel ball. Almost every weekend that year, every other weekend, I would drive to New Jersey and drive to New York for practice. Friday work all
Just
week.
listing
Friday
off a
rolls.
bunch of Carolina dudes though on
Yeah.
a New
Oh
Jersey
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Like, at no point did you guys go like, "Hey, we could just do this at home"?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go all the way to New Jersey when the talent was right here. Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Oh, you're kind of dumb back then. But also too is we had Big Jim Rensler, and he was putting up the bread. He owned Top Gun for it, and gave us all an opportunity, and we took it. We were in with it. I played on the D2 team, and again that year, kind of with the Raiden camp, in the camp, but not on the D1 team. Raiden goes and wins World Cup that year. Top Gun Paintball won World Cup. That was in, it was either the second to last year that it was at that airport. I don't know, down in Kissimmee. There was an old airport and the big hangar. I don't even know what that place was called. My God, it's been so long.
Was that not Disney? Was that not part of World of
No,
Sports?
it wasn't Disney. This was the place after Disney. The only time I played
Okay.
Disney was in 2008. God, as I'm sitting here talking about this, I'm remembering all these stories. 2008, man, that I played with. I threw together HK Nation All Stars off the HK forum on PB Nation. Again, played with
Nice.
played with Dimitri. Dimitri was on that team. And that was the first time I met Dimitri, and we started hanging out through Dimitri, started hanging out with Ashton Johnson, rest in peace, man. And who else? TJ Danner and all those guys. And so actually a guy named Rob, who was from Maryland, we picked up on the team, and he was like, "Hey man, we're driving down. We'll pick you up." So same kind of thing. This is 2008. I'm a sophomore in high school at this point.
Mhm.
Hey, we'll pick you up. And they picked me up in a 1998 limousine, and that they were driving down from Maryland. He and his dad. I'm talking like the purple suede interior, like something right out of the straight old school porno. You know what I mean? Like, and we rolled that thing down to Florida. My dad dropped me off in Fayetteville as a sophomore in high school. I don't know this dude. Like, yeah, sure. You're going to go play paintball? Go have a blast. Like, you know, when times were so much simpler, and that was, man, you talk about a fun time. That was a fun time. So I know I've kind of been scatterbrained all over the place.
No, you're
Like I
good,
said,
man.
there's a lot. As I'm sitting here talking, I'm like, oh wait, no, that was 2008. This was 2010. That was 2011. I mean, it was every year I was playing with a different group of guys. That's just how much I love the game, man. I didn't want to quit. If I didn't get given an opportunity somewhere local, I was going to go find one. And
Yeah.
I found ways to go play with. I mean, it was almost every other event I was with a new team, and
Jeez.
guys giving me the opportunity, and through high school, you want to be a high school student. I played football, lacrosse, wrestled. Actually quit wrestling in high school because my coach wouldn't let me off to go play event. And I said, well, then I quit. And I walked out of the gym and gave up wrestling to play paintball because know what 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, like, what did you do in high school? Like, oh, hung out with some friends, went to a football game this weekend. Like, what'd you do? I went to Las Vegas for a paintball tournament.
Yeah.
Like I went to Chicago. I went to Florida. I went to Texas. I went to Nebraska. I went to, wherever we were going that weekend to play paintball. People kind of look at you and say, do what?
Yeah.
But it was,
Well, even like regionally with the CFOA before it got like condensed down, like, what did you do? Well, I went, all the way up to Raleigh. I went
yeah,
down to Georgia. I went
yeah,
to Tennessee this weekend. Like, I miss when regional leagues would travel.
yeah.
that experience. Like there's a certain convenience, right, of it being at the same spot every time, easier planning and whatnot. But like
It's not
traveling
the
was
same.
experience. It's not the same.
It's not the same. Getting with your buddies and yeah, packing 5, 6 dudes and 6 gear bags into a Honda Civic
Yeah.
and driving 7 hours down the road to go play a 2-day paintball tournament and to pack 10 dudes into one hotel room. Dudes sleeping in bathtubs, sleeping in hallways, sleeping wherever they could.
Yeah.
It was
On the floor.
on
I
the
woke up
floor.
with
Oh,
my face in a pizza box one
oh
morning
yeah.
down
Oh
in
yeah.
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Normal
Yeah. Oh, the
15-year-olds
Myrtle
weren't
Beach
doing that
event.
shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We loved it. We did it. We did it every weekend. Every weekend. Every time you had an opportunity, all right, what money can we scrounge together for beer money?
Well,
let's let's go. Hey, you guys didn't make it. Fuck it. Let's go get drunk in the parking lot. Like, oh, dude, it was what a time to be alive. And that was back before iPhones and everything else, man. We were just living. We just
yeah.
we were
Yeah.
just living.
Barely had text messages.
No, no, no. Parents didn't know where we were, what we were doing. Like, no, we were living. God, what a time. What a time. So, kind of after all that, after throw together, 2015, the end of 2014, at World Cup, Collision had played that tournament. And I was myself and Brandon Hogan, Dylan Bounds, we're all playing with the Bears out of New York. And so played with the Bears at that World Cup event. Collision played that World Cup event. Breakout played that World Cup event. And after that event, it was kind of like all 3 teams were like, well, the owners of those teams are kind of like, well, we don't want to do this anymore. We were like, well, let's play. So we were in Old Town. I remember it. It was Saturday night. We're in Old Town and we're just piss hammered drunk. You know what I mean? Just like, what are we doing next season? Like it's kind of like one chapter's closing. Everybody's drowning their sorrows. Like nobody knows what they're going to do. And we were like, let's start a team. And at the bar, there was most of us were standing around at the bar. We're like, well, let's just make a team. And we're like, okay, what are we going to call ourselves? And Ryan Callahan looks over and goes,
Love Callie.
good old Callie, dude. Looks over and goes, just he either yells, hounds, like we're a bunch of hounds, bunch of dogs. And so we're like, all right, well, bloodhounds, like bloodhounds it is. And it took off right then and there. And so, 2015 was the inaugural season of the Bloodhounds camp. And there was enough of us, in the area that we were like, hey, we can do a D2 team and a D1 team. A bunch of the Collision guys, because Collision was playing D1 at that point in time. And they were kind of a flagship Empire team and everything. And they were like, hey, well, we're not going to go. We're already ranked D1. We're not going to go back to D2. We're like, well, that's just, I was like, I'll make a D2 team. And so we made the D2 team. And, it was me, Dylan Bounds, Brandon Hogan, Gil Brown, Colton Tanzer, a bunch of dudes, Hunter Murray, a bunch of the local guys. And we're like, hey, let's ball. And we started balling, and it was, dude, that was a camp, man. It was immediate. The first practice was at BR Paintball down in other side of Raleigh, and we knew from that day we're like, dude, we can play. We can play. And went to Texas again, another mud shit fest in a cow pasture in Dallas. We rented one of those 12-passenger vans.
Yeah.
And just put 12 dudes in it and gear bags and drove to Texas and had quite a few bottles of liquor rolling around in that thing. And we just, let's go to Texas. And went to Texas. And what do we do? I want to say we won one match. We went 1-3, I believe. Yeah, we went 1-3 that match or that event. Got the van stuck. I mean, just destroyed everything. Next event was that first Ohio event, and then we finished that one 2-1-1. And we were like, all right, like that was better. We picked up Heyman Chapman after that first event in Dallas, and it was like, all right, well, after that first event in Dallas, I called up Heyman and knew Heyman through all the years and said, hey, man, we'll take care of you if you want to come play again. And we did. the rest is history. That third event was in Virginia Beach. We got fourth place and then went on to World Cup that year and got third place. So it's just a consistent, steady on the ups. Next couple of years after that were, kind of same old thing. And yeah, that was a blast, man. And now here we are. That was the final season of the Bloodhounds was 2017. And here we are 9 years later and still creating the teams, aka the Scrappy Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So Flip Wilson was around. Flip, if y'all don't know Flip, you're missing out on one of the greatest human beings ever. Flip Wilson is an absolute unit of a human being, and he is a phenomenal dude. And he kind of gave us all the opportunity and said, "Hey, let's throw together a 10-man team." So that 10-man team started with a couple of hounds the very first year the 10-man happened. And then ever since then, it's just been kind of a steady development of more and more and more guys from the Bloodhounds camp. And yeah, man, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's that event to us is, I mean, you've played it, you know what it's like. It's fun.
It's the best event of the year.
It's the best event of the year. You can play 12 X-Ball tournaments every year. You're not going to have as much fun at all of those than you would at one of the 10-man events. So
yeah,
shout out Paintball Central, man. Always putting on a good event, putting on a show for us. And, we make it a priority to all get together that weekend, no matter what you got going on in our lives and kids and work and everything else. That's the opportunity, man. That's something to get together and let it all out on the field. So, it was a blast, dude. It's a blast. So, this past 10-man got exciting, got a little spicy.
Yeah. So what happened though before we get into it? You had like a 3-year break, like just life stuff.
Yeah. So 2017. I remember 2017. We had gone to Texas. We played. What was the first event that year?
Vegas.
2017 was the most event, the first event that year. And that Vegas team, because that was the year that the D2 team and the D1 team ended. And we were like, all right, well, we're not going to have two teams. We're just going to have one. And we kind of merged. So we took half the guys from the D1 team. And then we went out and picked up Stephen Lasher. Chris Shear was in California at law school in LA. No, San Diego, excuse me. Sorry, Chris. In San Diego. And he was playing he played for the Ironman the year before. But that year he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing for the Ironman. And we were like, all right, well, we picked up Lackey. We picked up Slasher. We picked up Chris Shear. We picked up Heyman Chapman, me, Brandon Hogan, Stephen Porterfield played on that team from the old trauma camp. I mean, it's just a stack. Just
yeah, I was about to say that's a lot of former pros and current pros.
Yeah. And we did make the cut. We made the cut that event, and we lost to Scottsdale Elevation in the quarters, I want to think.
They went pro shortly after.
Yeah, they went pro the very next year. And they ended up winning that event, and we lost to them in overtime, and got sent home, and that was a tough pill to swallow, because it was like, man, like we're right there, right on the cusp. And then the next event that was in Texas, that event didn't go so well, just didn't play well, didn't prepare. The layout wasn't for us. We didn't make the cut, and so then I remember practicing for the next event. Pull up to practice. It's downpouring rain. It's a layout weekend, and there's 3 people there. And I was missing one of my friends' weddings to be there, that event. Yeah. Everything just kind of hit at one time. And it was like, are we doing this? Do we want to do this? And people kind of like, well, I don't know. And I was like, all right, it's a hell of a ride, gentlemen, and right then and there, we hung it up. And so didn't play. That was the end of the Bloodhounds. Was halfway through the season in 2017. And so that's when I said, okay, well, if I'm not going to play with my friends and I'm not going to play here, I'm not going to play. I'm done. And so, I was dating my wife, we were getting really serious. I'd been serious for a while, but, I was like, well, hey, man, I'm missing birthdays and holidays. And like, when you're playing at the Division I level, you're putting everything you got to the game, especially when you have the stakes of winning.
That has to come first, right?
Yeah,
if you want to win,
Yeah.
that has to come first. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter about the holidays. It doesn't matter about the weddings. It
No.
doesn't matter about the
No.
birthdays. There's
It's
no,
the
hey, it's
boys
my wife's
involved.
birthday. Sorry, it's layout weekend.
Yeah.
You're at
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah. Or you're at practice. And that was just part of it. And she understood and she knew it. But then it was kind of like, well, when you weren't receiving, I can't say weren't receiving, but
The
people
others
started
weren't
getting old.
putting in as the
Yeah.
same, right?
Yeah. It was kind of like, all right, well, if we're not all going to do this, we're just not going to do this. And so that was the event. We hung it up, and that's, if I can't play with my friends, I'm not going to play. And so that was the last national tournament I played, was Texas 2017. I've played a few events, mostly 10-mans, a couple of retro 5-man, stuff like that since, but it's all still with the same dudes,
Yeah.
and that's why it means so much to me, because it was, hey, that's family. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's family.
So did the mechanical stuff bring you back in?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I was still playing, I'd go out and play around, on a layout weekend with people and just compete. Call ourselves the PBC practice squad, right? We go out,
Okay.
5
Yeah,
of
go
us
out
would
there,
go out.
kick the tires a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Drink some beer, have some fun, give people good looks, all the underground camp and other teams that were coming up through the years, but never dove fully back into it. 2019, I had a near fatal motorcycle crash that, by the grace of the good Lord, I'm here. And there was one of those opportunities where the doctors told me I may not walk properly again. And, that was kind of my focus, getting back to being able to play paintball. Yeah, to walk around. But I mean, let's be honest, if I can't go play with my friends, that really
Yeah.
sucked. And that was a big motivation for me, was, hey, I want to get back out. And that's what paintball kept me in shape, kept me rolling, kept me focused, and gave me a lot of opportunities. And so I really wanted that again. And that happened in 2019. Got better from that. Got married in November of 2019, and just been, now I'm a dad, and we just here, baby. We grinding. Yeah.
So does Flip call you all back together to play as Scrappy Dogs?
Yeah. So Flip, like I said, he started it, and the name Scrappy Dogs got started for a kid that played out there a lot who had cancer, and everybody called him Little Scrappy. And so that's why the hyperball field is called the Scrap Yard, because that was his favorite field to play on. So it was kind of a mix between local dudes that played at Paintball Central with Scrappy and the dogs, that were kind of from all over. So we merged the two names and got everybody together. And at first it kind of was a bunch of the Paintball Soldiers guys and then some old Bloodhounds guys, some other throw togethers. But now it's kind of transitioned more into most of us are ex Scrappy Dogs, or are ex Bloodhounds. Yeah, like I said, we look at Scrappy Dogs the way that, we looked at it in 2017 was, we're either going to play with our friends or probably not going to play. Like I don't really want to go out there and take a weekend in December in prime hunting season. You know what I mean? Right. Right before Christmas time, and take time away from family and my other hobbies that I've developed now to go play with some random dudes. We're all kind of in it. We're on it for friends. But yeah, Flip, if it wasn't for Flip, Scrappy Dogs wouldn't happen. And he is the quarterback. He is the mastermind. He is the GM. He is the VP, the owner, the captain. He is kind of our leader. And he makes it all possible. So Flip, we love you. You're the real one. You're the real one.
And Flip does it for love of the game. Like, I don't even think I've seen him play, but he is
doesn't
always
play.
out there.
Every year we're
Working
like,
his
Flip,
butt off.
bring your gear. Bring your gear. He love of the game, man. He is kind of, he is the behind the scenes guy at Paintball Central. For those of you that don't know, he changes the field layouts. He works on the skid steers. He builds the woods fields. He, works on the airlines, make sure we got air. When air goes down, middle of the tournament, the air compressor goes down. He's up there working on the air compressor. You know what I mean? Like he's constantly getting his hands dirty, constantly doing the little things to make sure that we have one of the sweetest places to go play. And, yeah, so whenever any of y'all go see Flip, show him some love because he deserves it. He deserves it. So yeah, Flip calls us back. Shout out Paintball Central. So, but yeah, man, it's one of those events where, like you said, January happens. As soon as the event happens, not even January, as soon as the event happens, you go put it on your calendar for the next year. First week in December, I'm not doing anything. I'm playing tennis.
Yeah. I mean, the guys I play with, like we
Relapse,
coordinate it.
right?
Yeah. Playing with Relapse, Boats and Hooves Worldwide, whatever we played
Boats and
as
Hooves
the year
Worldwide,
before. Many names, but Relapse is this real squad.
Yeah.
But
And
like
again,
like we coordinate who's free to make sure we get that spot.
Yeah. And come, as soon as I mean, it's constant updates. Hey, it's about sign up's about to happen. Sign up's about to happen. And the event has grown to a point. When first started, there was a lot of local teams, and the event has grown to, man, there's a lot of national pro 10-man teams that come to this event. Through the years, you've had Saberwolves, Image, Farside, who's the team, Misfits.
Yep.
A lot of these guys that play pro 10-man come down and want to play. And it's really developed into quite the event. And I only think it's going to get better. I don't know what all Tyler has in store for the new park, but I know he wants to continue to grow it.
Heard it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard rumors,
it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Fighting the city of Greensboro, I've heard, has been quite the pain. And so, it brings in a lot of current pros, a lot of ex-pros, a lot of players that, again, hey, these are our friends. Let's go play a local 10-man tournament. Well, we just happy to be here. We just happen to be local to it. But, there are people that come all the way. Detroit Fusion and the pro team. Those dudes drove in from Ontario, to play this event in the cold rain and for the love of the game, and then it brings in
all the Carolina pros are there. All the, half of Wrecking Crew is playing on it. Trying to think who else. NRG Elite always has a squad.
NRG Elite.
So,
and this is the spicy content you guys have been asking.
Yeah, let's get into it this year. So I do want to set it up a little bit.
Go ahead.
I don't know what happened with APPA in the schedule, but I felt like there was definitely a harder bracket, which I kind of get, but
you got to earn it.
You got to earn it all the same. And if you're making one bracket easier than the other bracket, is the other guy's earning it? We can talk about it.
No, there was definitely some uneven brackets. Yes.
And I will say, like, I was in the easy bracket, like I looked at it, I was like, oh, I don't have Scrappy Dogs. I don't have Gridlock. Like, might be our year, boys.
Yeah. I mean, you just gotta make it a Sunday, right?
Just gotta make it a Sunday.
It's anybody's game. And this year too, they did a little differently. Typically, you've got prelims on Saturday and Sunday. This year, well, I think last year might have been the same way, right?
Last year they squeezed it in barely. To where prelims were just on Saturday.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of got mixed feelings about that. I mean, if you're the guys that drive all the way in, you spend all that money and you're there for 10-man, you play one day and 6 games and that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how they do it. Maybe they make it a 3-day event. I mean, I don't know if that would draw more people or not, or less people, but yeah. So I mean, the brackets were a little wonky because they were trying to fit so many games into one event.
Well, and I will say, like, this year, like, you guys were in the other bracket and, like, obviously know a lot of homies on those teams. I didn't get to see any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like the years prior, like, there was more mixing of the like, even though you might have been in different brackets, you got to see your boys play a little bit more,
Yeah.
So I don't know what they did it, but
Well, they were running 3 fields at the same time too, I think. Hyperball, mounds, and airball.
Yeah, at one point I think they did have 3 running.
So it's kind of like, cool. You gotta squeeze them in where you can, I reckon.
Yeah. So anyways, take us through the event. I guess.
So so we get there, we're looking at, again, kind of what you're saying. We're looking at the APPA and going, okay, hey, these are all teams that we can play with. Our very first game, I'm not even sure. I apologize to the team not remembering, but our first game was kind of a warm up game. Our second game was against Detroit Fusion, and those dudes again been around a long time, play a lot of 10-man, and they gave us a game. We dropped that game. So moving forward, it was kind of like, all right, well, we can't really drop another. So we were kind of nose to the grindstone through the prelims, making sure that we made it on to Sunday. We didn't want to drop another one. So we're there to have a good time, but once you drop a game, if you know that you've got the talent to win, once you drop a game, you can't really drop another one. So we were pretty locked in. The boys were locked in and ready to go. So ended up making Sunday, make the cut. We're looking at the rosters, looking at the teams, going, okay, like, hey, the usual suspects, right? Like, we knew that the FTK and the I'm sorry, who's the guy?
I'm trying to pull it up for you.
Yeah.
It took me to
You just said,
2014.
who's you just said their name. Wrecking Crew. Yeah.
Wrecking Crew.
The Wrecking Crew guys, us, Gridlock, the NRG, the Killdozers guys, man, got to give credit to those dudes.
Yeah.
Another bunch of local kids out of South Carolina, same kind of thing as us, right? They put together, they're all friends, and they come together and they play. And then the team that everybody was looking at, War from Ohio, they came down and played last year. That team's got Matt Askren, Tyler Dowiak, Danny Schoenhauer, and Sam Soberg, and then some of the other guys from kind of that camp up there. But 4 current NXL pros on that roster, and I don't think they lost more than a couple of bodies to the prelims.
War.
Yeah. They were mopping everybody. So they were kind of the team, right? So we're in Sunday. We play our first game. We win our first game. To move
against FTK, right?
Yeah. But FTK, some of those dudes.
No, sorry, that was the last game on Saturday, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So first game would have been Killdozers?
No, Sunday? That was our last game.
That was your last game? Okay, well, APA hasn't screwed up then.
No, I'm sorry. That was not our last game. That was that? No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it was. It was because we played 2 games on Sunday, right? Yeah, it was only 2 games on Sunday. So first game was against War. Was on that Sunday, right? And this is the team that we're looking at. Everybody's looking at, like, hey, these guys are here to play. It's on Hyperball. It's speedball. This is where the speedball players thrive, right? There's mounds, and that's kind of a toss-up. Woods is kind of a toss-up, but Hyperball is where it goes down, right? And we beat the shit out of them. Let's call it what it is. Call the cat black. We beat the shit out of them, and beat the shit out of them pretty single-handedly. But this is where it all started, right? So I'm in the
96-8 for those that want to know. And on 10-man, that's
beat
giving someone a mollywhopping.
Yeah. So this is the team that has 4 current pros on it. They've been mopping everybody. They came down here thinking that they were going to roll. And their first game Sunday, they just get absolutely steamrolled. Quote, by the favorite team, the local team. This is what they were screaming the whole time. So to lay it out for you a little bit, I'm in the corner in front of me. I've got Danny Schoenhauer. He's in the snake in front of me. And I have Jake Summers right in front of me, and Brian Besterman is in the snake. I'm shooting crossfield. See Sam Soberg dive into the 50 diamond. I'm screaming. We call that echo. I'm screaming echo, 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 echo. Something happened on that sideline. Well, what happened is I'm screaming. I'm telling Logan, hey, check him. Him hearing right through my paint. He made it, maybe made it. I don't know. I'm pretty confident that I shot him, but whatever. He goes in. Logan, the head ref, is on the outside of the net, and he tells the head ref, hey, go inside and check him. Well, Logan's wearing the same thing that Logan always wears. He's wearing that white enemy of the state. If you've played the event, so you know who Logan is.
Blue Jean Bandit.
In Sam's defense, he doesn't know Logan from Adam, right? He doesn't know. But still, hey, Logan tells one of his guys, hey, go check that guy. The ref runs in, checks Sam in the echo, and he either got rid of it or I didn't shoot him, whatever. It comes out, and Sam looks at Logan and just, flips him off and says, fuck you. And Logan's like, we'll pull him, go pull him out. So they go and pull him out and pull a penalty on him. And Sam just erupts on the sidelines. I mean, just erupts, like, screaming, throwing, getting in people's face, yelling at Tyler. I mean, just having an absolute child of a temper tantrum on the sidelines. Mind you, while he's standing there, I am absolutely making it rain on top of his head and in his back and in his pack. I mean, the whole way to the dead box. Once that's done, I'm not really sure what happened on that side. Once that's done, I look inside and we killed another guy on the other side. There's only one or two bodies left. Danny's in the snake. I start peppering and send Brian to go launch. Brian launches and just sticks it in his fucking ear. I mean, just buries him. You know what I mean? And then, of course, as he's walking out, I give him about a half a pod in the back, blow him kisses on the way to the dead box. Just let him know that we're this
little old school bruising session.
Yeah, this thing. Yeah, we're not the teams you were playing yesterday. Like we came to play. And so from then on, I mean, they are just losing their marbles. They're saying that Logan, that we didn't know he was there, that Logan gave the position away, that the refs are showing favorites on the hometown kids. It's bullshit. This is crazy. It's collusion, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it wasn't one or two guys. Like I said, we kicked the shit out of them. It wasn't.
Yeah, this wasn't a close match.
No, it wasn't even close. And so, telling them, hey, you lost. You lost fair and square. We beat you fair and square. Like, what are you bitching about, right? So then the next game, we go on to play the Killdozers. That game goes to time, gets pretty close. But we, again, not 100% sure kind of what the points were in that game. But it was one of those games where it's like, all right, we're pretty confident with as bad as we beat War. We're pretty confident that game laid out that as long as
21-9.
Yeah.
So as long as it went the distance, right?
As long as Killdozers don't beat War, which no, I'm not talking bad on Killdozers, Matt, the Gym Rats team, and all those guys. Hey,
there's a bunch of good dudes on that squad.
Great dudes in that squad. Very, very respectable. Grade A paintball players. Matt, you did cheat us 3 times in that game, and you admitted to it. So but it happens. As long as Killdozers didn't beat War, that we were probably going to make the cut, right? We're pretty confident in that. So this is where it all went down, right? So Killdozers needed 84 points to win. So that was a pool 30 points, a hang 50 points, and 4 more points from bodies, from eliminations, right? So the game was about 6 versus 7, somewhere in that ballpark, with like 45, 47 seconds left on the clock, right? At this point, War was so mad at Paintball Central that we kicked the shit out of them. Matt Askerson, Tyler Doak, like I said, I'm by name. Matt Askerson, Tyler Doak, Danny Schonauer, and Sam Silberg, who currently, Danny and Sam, 2 current NXL pros. Matt and Tyler both, have been playing, all of these guys have been playing pro for half a decade now. Consistently, we, event in and event out playing pro, got so butthurt that they got the shit kicked out of them that they decided to throw the tournament. That they knew that if they lost to Killdozers, if they lost, not if they tied, if they lost to Killdozers, that Killdozers would have gone in over us, and that they weren't going in regardless, right? Because they lost so bad. So when it got down to the final minute, these fucking losers, let's call it what it is, absolute children, grown children of men, decided to throw the tournament, run off the field. They're running off the field screaming at each other, get off the field, get off the field, get off the field, intentionally not shooting anybody and running to the dead box just so Killdozers could run in and grab the flag. Now, no disrespect to Killdozers, but if it's 6-on-6 with 45 seconds left, I don't think you're shooting all 6 bodies grabbing the flag and hanging it in 45 seconds.
Pretty hard to do in Tin Man.
Even a minute, even 1 minute. Crazy things have happened, but pretty confident that game is going to go our way. Well, no, they made sure that it did. So if you guys were there, you know my reaction to it. Immediately ran up to them, confronted them, called them pussies, called it what it is. They tried denying it, and then Sam Silberg proceeds to have a gigantic meltdown on the ground. And, what the fuck are we talking about? Fuck you guys, bunch of losers, blah, 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 your favorite, blah, like just having an absolute temper tantrum, right? And they all finally admitted, yeah, we threw the game. Sam sitting on the ground, looks at me and says, yeah, we threw the game. And this is what really pissed me off, is the fact that he admitted it. I knew they did it, but then to hear him admit it, just salt in the wound, right? We're talking about pros that play at the highest level. Again, here I go back to that term, sport, game, hobby, whatever you want to call that. If we want any sort of authenticity to this sport, things like that can't happen. Look at what happens when pro players in the MLB, in the NFL, in the NBA are caught for throwing games, right? I mean, there's prison time that comes with that. Now, should prison time come with dudes throwing a paintball tournament? Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. But it is. I mean, I think Jason Trosen needs to take a look at this and say, hey, he's got his current pros, the dudes that play at the highest level in his game, throwing tournaments because they don't like the call that a ref made at a local 10-man tournament. So they proceed to throw the tournament. And again, no disrespect to the guys that made the finals, but I'm gonna stand on business when I say this. We were gonna win that tournament. And there's not, maybe crazy things were happening, but we were playing very well those couple of games, and everything was clicking. And to play war the way that we played them, I didn't see anybody beating us. Yeah, that might be cocky for me to say, but you want to run it back. We'll go play on the high ball field, and anybody can get it. So, that was just one of those events where everything was going our way. And to have that happen and to go home like that, dude, I was so fucking mad. And then just their snarky little comments there at the end. I mean, just pussies, just absolute pussies, because, quote, we didn't want the hometown team to win. So, Danny Schoenhauer, Matt Silberg, you two in particular, you're pussy, you're soft, this is the way you handle losing. Well, Danny, maybe that's why you're not on an NXL pro team this year. So, take a seat, and didn't play much on Dynasty, and you might not play much going forward. It was one of those situations that, I couldn't believe that it went down like that. Of all my years playing paintball, I have never had that happen, much less guys that play at the highest level. So, it fired me up. It fired me up. I'm really happy that, and on top of that, right, they said they didn't want the hometown team to win. The other hometown team, the FTK kids, Owen Pinch and Tommy and Dylan Bounds and Ty Kidd and all these the local guys that PBC all the time.
No, just got on that team called. So sorry, guys. The Jungle Cats. I almost called him.
Did he really?
Yeah. They picked him up for the pro squad.
Good for him.
But FTK is nothing but Carolina kids.
Yeah, nothing but Carolina kids that grew up playing in that park. So jokes on you. And then,
Killdozers is nothing but Carolina dudes.
Yeah. In all seriousness, though, like, right, people, we want this event to be honest, right? We want the pro teams to come. We want the big name teams to come. We want everybody to show up and have a great time. But when things like that happen, it's not going to get any bigger. We're not going to draw anybody out. Nobody's going to want to come when shit like that happens. Like, I'm not coming halfway across the country to go play a local 10-man event to just get, to have bad calls go our way or whatever. I mean, it's paintball, right? We've all been on the receiving end of bad calls, no matter who you are. And, to have it go down like that, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. So if you were there, I'm sure you heard me. I'm sure you probably saw me. I made sure to make a spectacle, and make sure that they knew that was just soft. That was just soft. I don't think Matt and Tyler. I mean, yeah, no, I can't say it. Matt just played for NRG, right? So you got guys that are just coming off World Cup pro and are throwing 10-man events. It's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Man.
And once again, like, not taking anything away from the Killdozers. Like,
no, absolutely not.
Half
Absolutely
those
not.
dudes play for roadies and like just won an ICPL.
Yeah.
Matt
Yeah.
played for Dark Carnival.
Ballers.
Won the series.
And they got second, right?
Yeah, Dark Carnival got second after taking 3 first places in a row. There's a ton of ballers on that squad.
Yeah.
Once again, not taking anything away from them, but
no, not
you
at
got
all. Not at all.
current professionals throwing a game, so
Throwing
you
it, and that's
don't have a shot.
And that's right. And we would have gone in. It would have been us, FTK, NRG, and a Carolina Voodoo, maybe. Yeah,
It's hard to look at it on.
Yeah,
this
I'm not
side
sure.
of it.
I'm not sure who else. Carolina and Killdozers end up getting second to the FTK kids, and like I said, they played really well. But
Yeah,
even
NRG would have still been in there.
Yeah, NRG would have still been in there. FTK would have been in there, and it was either us or Killdozers. And because they threw the game, it was Killdozers. And the FTK kids know it. All you kids watching this, you know it. You wouldn't have beat the OGs. You wouldn't have beat the big dogs. It's all good. Yeah, I made sure I told him. I said, yeah, y'all want the smoke? We're all right here, right down the street. We can go any day of the weekend and get after it. So y'all say when and where. Y'all say when and where. But nah, in all seriousness, Tommy and those other kids, they've got an opportunity, with a lot of the top D1 teams are now in pro. They've got an opportunity to be the next pro team, and I certainly hope. Tommy got World Cup MVP. That kid's an absolute stud. They got some real ballers. And like I said, Noah on the Jungle Cats team, and Dylan Bounds has been around a real long time. They're ballers. But they wouldn't beat us.
Well, man, I can hear the little one in the background.
Yeah.
I told you now we went a little over.
That's the tea, folks. That's the tea. And if anybody got any more questions, like I said, happy to call them out by name. I mean, when I see him next, if I ever see him next time, I'll be sure to tell him, oh yeah, you guys are the ones that fucking threw the game. Giant man babies, like I said, that's probably why Danny Schoenhauer's not playing paintball anymore, because he fucking sucks. Hey, how's your ear feel after Brian Besserman stuck his tongue in it, But yeah. So
nice.
Anyway, but
man, needless to say, you guys will be back next year at the 10.
We will be back. Yeah.
Like, this isn't deterring you. Should deter anyone else from joining the CFOA 10 man. This is reflective on a team, not on
the event, not on the location, not on none of it like that, man. It's a great thing, and I really hope more and more people come out. But it's a great time, regardless of what happens. We were drinking beer with the boys, having a great time, getting to see everybody. And, and so you mentioned Dark Carnival, Scrappy Dogs. That's what it's turned into. It's about 50% Bloodhounds and 50% Dark Carnival. But those Dark Carnival guys.
I noticed Ken on that roster.
Yeah.
I noticed Eddie on that roster.
Castor and Ken, those Dark Carnival guys, half those Dark Carnival guys were all Bloodhounds guys before they were Dark Carnival. So, we just, like I said, we just been around, and man, it's been one hell of a ride. And I don't see myself not playing paintball in some way for as long as I can. But as long as I'm with my friends, and friends are what make it. And without that,
I'm a little older than you, but we're in the same age bracket.
Yeah.
At this point in life, that's what it's about, right? It's like
that's
going out,
about,
having a good time with the boys. Yeah. Reliving some old memories, making some new ones.
100%. Reliving old memories. Yeah. And Jay Aller and all those dudes back, Eddie Dawes, guys that were original Bloodhounds guys way back in the day, all here. So it's been fun, man. It's been fun. But as you heard, I mean, I do kind of probably got to hop off. Get the little man to bed. But dude, it's been an absolute pleasure having being on here, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. If you have any more questions, like I said, I'm happy to answer them. And looking forward to seeing this. And getting our story out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's cool to get my story out there, about, where I came from and how I got started. And, like I said, man, it's doing things like what you're doing, giving guys like me an opportunity to talk about our story, talk about where we came from and everything. It's fucking badass, bro. It's
Thank
badass.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It means a lot when it comes from the local guys. It's appreciated. Well,
It's nice
shout
to
out
get
whoever you want to shout out real quick.
Hey, definitely, yeah. So shout out all the Scrappy Dogs, all the old Bloodhound OGs, all the guys with bad knees and with kids now. Hey boys, we still here. Shout out Paintball Central, man. Always putting on a hell of an event. Flip, you're an absolute, you're a warlord, dude. You're our leader and our captain, and without you, it would not be possible. The parks wouldn't run the way they do without you. Shout out Tyler Humphrey again for continuing to take Paintball Central and make it into the next biggest thing. Brian Stewart, Rob Stodd, and all those dudes, that really put the event on. Shout out to all the old trauma dudes who beat the shit out of us growing up. That gave us all the opportunity. All the old heads, all the old OGs that played with me. Steven Lasher, Chris Shear, Eamon Chapman, Lockey, and Jay Lack. Everybody loves good old Lockey. Yeah, man, it's been a hell of a ride, boys. So we just keep on going. And shout out Hunter Patterson, man, for putting this on. For real. Good looks. Much love.
Thank you, man. With that, we'll take us out. We'll see everyone next time on the Planet Paintball Podcast. And Jared, where you at, buddy?
Yeah, man. No doubt. Be good.
Thanks for tuning in to the Planet Paintball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Whether you're out there grinding in the divisional pits or chasing dreams on the pro stage, remember, it's all about the passion, the hustle, and the love for the sport. Until next time, keep grinding, keep growing, and we'll see you back here on the Planet Paintball Podcast